So the Ajrumiyya is a standard primer, a basic text that every beginner passes through and the experts are not free from referring to. That's what we want to present. To enable, when I was with Talib al-Ilm, they didn't have anything in English for Al-Ajrumiyya. We want to not reinvent the wheel, but make something available for those new students and those other students who come on after us, and those people who are unable to go travel, not to miss out. And those people who have self-studied and learned to be able to refer back and say, okay, yeah, I got everything I need to get. And for them to know. That's our objective here. Go ahead. Outline. The course will follow the following topics, inshallah. The reason why we say inshallah, of course, Allah knows best what's going to happen, but we know that students drop out. It's normally the student who weasels out and finds an excuse not to complete. So inshallah, if you're here, we'll get it done. With the videos and everything, we can record the lesson and not waste our energy, and then when you're ready, you can come back to it. Inshallah ta'ala. General knowledge of Arabic. General knowledge of Arabic means those things, like I said, what does the word Araba mean? What does language mean? Those basic things about the lugha. Next, orthography. Orthography deals with the makharij and the huruf. How to pronounce the letter and what the letter looks like and the sifat of the letter. That's the first part. Second, grammar, nahwu. Dealing with the ajrumiyya, basically, in this, knowing the grammar, where to put a word, or awakhir al-kalimi, the last part of the letters. Etymology, sarf, and we may not do it in this order. We might switch the orders. A lot of people want to hear and see al-ajrumiyya. But in actuality, lamiyya or al-bina, that should go first, which is sarf. So if we want to do what's right as opposed to what's popular, we would start off with sarf, first and foremost. Because it is the science through which we recognize and learn about a word, what? End the sentence. Before you enter it into a sentence. Pay attention. Before you enter in a sentence, and grammar is what? After. Right. Recognizing the placement of a word after it's been added into a sentence. What that word means due to its placement in a sentence. Right? So which comes first? Sarf. And as a non-Arab speaker, originally, you always make sarf. As sarf is the breakdown of the word. You don't know what a word is until you make sarf. So you're constantly in need of sarf. You may not have any grammar, but you need to know what that word means and how to figure out what it means. Right? You can walk, even in English, if someone had a great vocabulary, said, iPhone, I hungry, you would be able to understand them. But if they don't have any grammar, but if they had all the grammar in the world but no vocabulary, there's no conversation. Fatadabbaru. Think about that. Rasmi, which is dictation, and these definitions are mine because a lot of these things have not been translated into English, so this is how I express these terms. Wallahu a'lam. Someone would come after and say, well, there's a better term for that. Okay? Rasmi, generally it's dictation. Insha'u is composition, how to speak properly and clearly, like for instance, we'll get to it. Eloquence was his balagha and poetry or shi'ru. These are the sciences, the general sciences. From these you get 13 sciences. We'll talk about it later. Most of the times in this outline, we're going to use classical works for these sciences when they're available. In the absence of a classical work, what we will do, we will make up a primer in English. For example, in orthography, there was no primer work. Well, we made master letters to stand in its place, to be a standard primer in that case. Okay? So let's go on. And then we're going to enhance them with notes and commentary. The notes and commentary are as important as knowing the translation, because you can't translate these works. You have to explain them. So the notes and the commentary are very vital for the student that's going further to go study these in full Arabic, and the student that's not, so that he doesn't miss anything. Required materials, a view binder that's going to be provided by me, that's for your handouts, a composition or spiral notebook for classroom use and homework, your red pen, you will have a red pen, so if I need to write something, I don't have to look in my bag for a red pen. Everybody has their own red pen that I can just grab and use. It's best to get one of those big pens that you can flip the different colors. That might help out. Then sharp pencils and black and blue pens, or black and blue pens, but you have to sharpen the pencils before class. No one's going to be allowed to sharpen pencils during class. Highlighter or color pen, not red, for the student. If you want to highlight some notes, if you want to make a question, because when you write questions, I want you to put your questions in the sidelines, the hamish on the sides, or on the bottom, or the top. I want you to highlight it, but I want you to highlight it in your colors, not my colors. My color is red. So when you look at your notes in 10 years or 5 years, you can recognize immediately, these were my questions, or these were someone else's question, and I wrote it down. This was a comment that was not the teacher's, and the comment teacher was in red when the teacher wrote on it. It's very important in the future, because your notebook will become your teaching utensil in the future. Going along, it says grading plan. Homework will be graded on neatness, completion, comprehension of assignment. What are you guys thinking about homework? This is not tafsir class, so what am I going to ask you to do? I'm going to ask you to memorize. Ask you to memorize. That is most of your homework going to be. Memorization. I will provide you with the written material that you need to read. You will have reading assignments and memorization. That is it. So you don't have to buy notebooks. I'll provide you with all of it. Inshallah. All verification. Could you raise this up, please? Could you raise this up? Thank you. All verification will be graded on the strength of memory, clarity, and comprehension of the memorized material outside of the memorized format. What does that mean? I will question you. I will say, okay, recite to me some particular point. You will recite that point to me. How strong? If you stumble through it, alhamdulillah, barakallahu feekum. But if you recite it strong, the Prophet Anas ibn Malik was given up by his mother to go to the Prophet to be his servant. And he was a servant for the Prophet for 10 years. And one of the things the Prophet did before taking on this young man as his apprentice to allow him to be his servant, he listened to him recite Quran. He had him recite Quran. And Anas says that I reciting, letting him know through my recitation that I understood the meanings of what I was saying. And that impressed the Prophet ﷺ. It might have been one of the reasons why the Prophet ﷺ allowed him to be his servant. So we see here, when you recite, I want you to recite with knowledge. Show that you know what you're talking about through your recitation. And then I'm going to question you to express to me what it is that you know outside of the format that you have it in. Because some people may get stuck on it. Like a lot of times in Mauritania, if you ask some of the younger students anything out of order, they can't answer you. Why? They don't have the Oxford School of Education like we have here in the United States. We may not recognize it, but we have a style of academia that is beautiful. And learning how to write and take notes and read, where theirs is strictly memorization. A child might memorize half the Quran and never know anything about reading. Okay? So this is their style. So we have both worlds that we can pull from. So I want you to be able to express to me what it is that you memorized and not have to stick to the format that it was memorized in. Can you take it apart and put it back together? That's vital. Because knowledge is not what's memorized. Knowledge is what is useful. And you can't use it just in that format because life don't come just like that. Inshallah. So it says, students will be graded on active, willing participation in class and mental preparedness. That's clear. You have any questions about that? Anybody sleeping in the class and doing all drooling and everything? The teacher reserves the right to call upon any student on any given day to review the organization and completeness of their composition notebook. This is your notes. Every day you are writing notes. You're listening to lectures. You're being told things. I want to see your notes. Why? Because at the end of it, we have to produce someone who is adlun dabitun, who is upright and just in their deen, and dabtan, meaning meticulous and expert in his thing. So I want to see your notes. Have you been following it? And dabt is not only Abdus-salaam, it's Abdul-kitaba. Abdus-salaam is that someone memorized it in his chest, like the Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah. He used to sit in class. He was the only one that Imam Malik used to let sit in class without any books. And he used to lick his finger and make like he's writing in the air. He was a young boy. He was one of the youngest boys in the class. He was the only child in the class. So the older man was like, look at this kid. What are you doing? I'm writing down what the sheikh said. He had Abdus-salaam. They said, oh yeah, they would flip back their papers. What'd he say after this? And he would flip back his imaginary papers and start reciting. He got so good, they would tell him something and then let him start reciting so they could copy their notes and check their notes on his memory.